Harold Pinter Silence. Anyway, I went to Ted, and he said the negative gearing, like it's still worth it in this sort of market, But I said to him, well, the knockdown rebuild, right? Like, I'm not sure it makes sense. And he went, no. With the negative gearing, you get the deeming credits. I said, Ted, do you know what you're talking about? Like, it's not like I'm freaking under 30 and I'll never have property. Like, these freaking under 30 people, right? Listen to this. You probably had something like this. But the bastards I'm renting to, right? They're 29 and stuff. Okay, they haven't got a heater, but I'm pumping freaking carbon into the atmosphere. That's going to heat it up eventually.
Absolutely.
Oh, I said that to Ted. He went nuts, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I trust Ted. He, I feel, this whole kind of TED Talk culture that we seem to have developed, I'm just a little wary about it. I think that they're setting us up for, this fake falling house price situation we're going through. And really, what I want from a TED Talk is see this guitar can blow the balls off a charging rhino at 12,000 paces. That's what I want from a TED Talk.
And the young people today, they wouldn't even understand that.
Of course, if we're talking, classic rock, move up the Christian rock fader, you can't really have a conversation about classic rock without talking about Jim Steinman. Now, not many of the viewers will know Jim Steinman because, let's face it, nobody in the world is as old as we are. But I want to, just to sort of pay homage to Jim Steinman. You may know perhaps some of the work that he was responsible for. In particular, you may be familiar with Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart. Jim Steinman is a master of understatement. The Total Eclipse of the Heart was kind of like a Jim Jarmusch movie in its understatement. And Meatloaf, of course, is a great progenitor of the Jim Steinman art. And I want to focus very clearly on the song I Would Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That. The beauty about that song...
Hey, Wayne, what does that do then?
...is that, it's like you're lulled into this sense that... Meatloaf will give you a litany of things
a lot of money.
he won't do, like
sorry,
of double anal and coprophilia and, Scott Morrison. You get that sort of titillating sense from that song that you're going to get a whole list of horrendous, incestual sexual images.
Sorry, Humphrey, do you want any cable ties?
Yeah, actually, I really, could do with something like that. So, Ron, one of the things that really annoys me is whenever I read about artists talking about artists that influence them, and whenever I listen to your cool kind of alternative radio stations, the same name keeps coming up all the time, and the same kind of thing. The music all sounds like this, and it is Peter Andre, and people. I'm sure they don't really listen to Peter Andre. They just like people at parties to know they listen to Peter Andre, and you get this sort of these bullshit quotes like, Peter Andre never really had any fans or many fans, but every fan went and started a band of their own, Exactly. And I just wish people would stop pretending all this nonsense about Peter Andre and admit what is really in their record collection. It's Velvet Underground, But we all love Velvet Underground.
They're not cool enough, are they?
That's right. I mean, just because they get their tops off and they're all ripped and they look sort of a few bob short of a pound, To me, that's the beauty of Velvet Underground.
Imagine sitting with all these music wankers here at Rage and we said, oh, look, I admit to liking the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
Oh, quel horror. You know,
Yeah.
oh my God, it'd be like the Bay City Rollers, wouldn't it?
Well, exactly, that's
But
right.
instead you come in and go, oh, have you heard Peter Andre's tracks from 72 in Manhattan?
Yeah.
And they're all lapping it up, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. The flirtation with heroin and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I would like to think that instead of churning out the usual bullshit, but Peter Andre track after Peter Andre, we could have
We are
some,
sick
you know,
of it.
happy music with models, supermodels, and
Yeah.
swimming pools and drinks with umbrellas. You know, the Velvet Underground. Let's see if we can. I bet they're not going to let us.
They're not going to hear.
Let's see if we can
those
get that on.
cisgendered heteronormative monsters. You know, Humphrey, it's been the normal undergraduate nonsense here tonight on Rage. You know, the Prime Minister liked it last time we hosted Rage, but we're nowhere near that form, right?
No.
So I think it's time to stop the nonsense, stop the cheap jokes, stop Wayne's humiliation, and let's talk something serious, something that I think means something to the contemporary generation. So Humphrey, I'd like to introduce you as you tell us the New Kids on the Block story.
So, New Kids on the Block, apparently, you know, a band, of course, whose acronym looks suspiciously like NOB, apparently used to leave a freshly deposited stool in the middle of their dressing room at every show. And, you know, I don't want to find out if that's true, because I've gone my entire showbiz life hoping that's true. Whenever I see New Kids on the Block, I imagine the poor workers who come in and slip on it after the show in trying to clean up their detritus. So, you know, I think that's the sort of thing that should be shown on Rage. If you look at New Kids on the Block, or NOB, as I like to call them, you'll notice that there are very clever little, like Easter eggs in the old DVDs. You'll find stools in most of their film clips.
I think in the clip that we're going to show, Humph, by the way, I think the Prime Minister would very much approve of this segment.
Yeah, he would, yeah.
I think if you look carefully at the clip that we're going to show, I mean, the incompetence here at the ABC probably can't slow it down and still it at the precise moments. But I think you can see the building of stool, both in the profile around the bowel area and also in the awkward mannerism that they have. In fact, I would advise... well, I suppose what I'm talking about is the viewers at home who are male without girlfriends. I would advise them to pause it at 1 minute 38, and one can start seeing an incipient stool. Both
Incipient, yes. Incipient
stool. I put that one in for the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
You know, an incipient stool, both in the lead singer and the third androgynous person to the right of the singer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know, I guess for the viewers at home, if you've got kiddies, watch New Kids on the Block, and you know, a bit like your Easter egg hunt, see how many stools you can spot.
And I also think, I mean, we're making a joke, a poo joke.
Well, I'm not sure where you got that idea from.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about the work of Trollope, but yeah.
Well, that's right. I understand, you know, the Barchester Towers series, a very interesting series about the reformation of the Anglican Church in the late 1800s. And of course, at the time, under Catholic emancipation of the 1830s, there were two strands of the church. The High Church, led by Newman, of course, he eventually became a Catholic, and the Lower Church. Now, the High Church was part of the class structure that resisted change, and the lower part of the church had a sort of a more working class feel, but they had sort of spiritual enthusiasm that doesn't connect with the sort of cultural mores of the English upper class.
And that's kind of happening now with the Anglican Church, isn't it? Like you've got this breakaway movement in the Anglican Church at the moment, which is aligning itself with the Southern Cross.
Well, I mean, any rock band. I mean, I was talking to Regurgitator just this morning, and they noted the same thing, the parallels between the Trollope series and, of course, the breakaway of the Anglican Church. But the point I was trying to make is that if you are toilet training your children, you can look at this video, and I think the basics of toilet training will be told to them in a non-threatening way, with young pop band, young good-looking men having a poo. There's no shame in having a poo, Humphrey.
No,
is there?
Yeah, that's right. So time to watch New Kids on the Block and remember that we are not a poo band. So, another chapter in this sort of Antiques Roadshow of a Rage segment, I'd like to sort of talk to the viewers about the Betty Boo incident.
Hey, Humph, is there a light sticking into your back?
Yeah. It's, I'm being impaled on my carbon footprint at the moment.
Tell you what, Wayne, you better have a freaking good reason for putting us under the freaking desks.
So Betty Boo was, your sort of standard 90s pop artist, and she toured on the strength of a particularly popular single called Doin' the Do. And she played here in Australia, and there was this enormous furore when
Wayne, where's the freaking punchline?
Played at the 21st Century Dance Club in Frankston, and something happened to the tapes, and they stopped, and everyone noticed that Betty was miming. My God, it was such a controversy at the time. Mick Malloy, the famous comedian, was actually working as security that night, and he got involved in a terrible punch-up. It's hard to describe now to
I don't care, you bloody filmed the Stones in 82 like you were boring us with before.
Is just how controversial it was. And but most people associate Betty Boo with miming, but I just want to say that check out Nick Cave next time he's doing Red Right Hand and just see the reel-to-reel tape machine working in the background, all that sort of Tupelo nonsense. The man is miming. I mean, say no more. You can have your Betty Boo, but just look at Nick.
Wayne, why have you gone handheld? Do you think it's a bit sort of old school? Are you saying something about our age? Truck you, Australia, Felix. Truck you, the sheep's back. Truck you, Tasmania. Truck you, Big Mac.
Hey, driver, truck. Hey, driver, truck.